In The Conspiracy Against the Human Race, horror writer Thomas Ligotti argues that human beings are as insignificant as flies. The Norwegian philosopher Peter Wessel Zapfi once said that it is a damning surplus of consciousness which makes people think their lives have meaning. Ligotti frequently summons Zapfi throughout the book to strengthen his ideas around consciousness and suffering. At times, The Conspiracy Against the Human Race seems to be as much a summary of Zapfi's The Last Messiah essay as it is a collection of Ligotti's thoughts. Zapfi argues that most people learn to save themselves by artificially limiting the content of consciousness. This idea of fruitless distraction from death runs throughout Ligotti's book. The notion that we are tricking our consciousness through art, relationships, work, every activity humans engage in serves one supreme purpose: to stop us from realizing that we are nothing more than deteriorating husks. Ligotti examines different branches of pessimism and nihilism, arguing that aside from Nietzsche, the reason these other hardcore philosophers like Zapfi never broke into the mainstream was because they were too negative. Their prognoses of mass extinction and suicide as an end to human suffering was not well received, and these kinds of ideas generally never have been. That is why this book is titled The Conspiracy Against the Human Race. Ligotti thinks the biggest lie humanity has been sold is that our lives have meaning. He writes, "Human suffering will remain insoluble as long as human beings exist." Aside from looking at various philosophies surrounding suicide or human extinction, pessimism, nihilism, Ligotti also explores the horror genre, which he has devoted his life to. It is his love of horror that has distracted him from the pain of his own existence, while simultaneously giving him a platform to complain about said existence. So what is Ligotti's solution to the pain of being alive? He often wonders what would happen if we stopped procreating. He argues that it would be a victory if we could acknowledge that life is painful, and to save any future generations from experiencing that pain, we cease producing. This is the main point Ligotti wants to leave the reader with, that there may be something noble and even sane in discontinuing the human race. I will leave you with these closing words from Ligotti. There will come a day for each of us, and then for all of us, when the future will be done with. Until then, humanity will acclimate itself to every new horror that comes knocking, as it has done from the very beginning. It will go on until it stops, and the horror will go on, with generations falling into the future like so many bodies into open graves. The horror handed down to us will be handed down to others like a scandalous heirloom. Being alive, decades of waking up on time, then trudging through another round of moods, sensations, thoughts, cravings, the complete gamut of agitations, and finally flopping into bed to sweat in the pitch of dead sleep, or simmer in the phantasmagorias that molest our dreaming minds. It will go on until it stops, and the horror will go on, with generations falling into the future like so many bodies into open graves. The horror handed down to us will be handed down to others like a scandalous heirloom. Being alive, decades of waking up on time, then trudging through another round of moods, sensations, thoughts, cravings, the complete gamut of agitations, and finally flopping into bed to sweat in the pitch of dead sleep, or simmer in the phantasmagorias that molest our dreaming minds.